3 Griswold. It's a large logo here. And this is a skillet that is pretty much I've restored to the best of my ability. And I'm going to go ahead and show you today how I season this and prepare this for use. Now, I'm not saying my way is better than anyone else's way, because there are a lot of different ways to go about seasoning your cast iron. And it really is just a matter of what works for you. And this is pretty much how I do it. Now, I wasn't ready to season this pan right after I cleaned it and pretty much got all the gunk and rust off of it. So I did rub it down pretty good with some oil, and then I sort of let it sit until I was ready. And today's the day. So what I've done is I've got my oven ready. It's set for 200 degrees. And I'm just going to preheat my pan and the oven together. And it's pretty much going to warm the pan up to about 200. Now, currently I didn't add anything else to the pan. I want to go ahead and heat it up to open up the pores, which is why I'm only using about 200, so that the oil can really get deep down in there before I start the seasoning process. So we'll come back when the pan's heated up. I have it set for about 6 minutes. The pan's gone ahead and heated up, and I just used an old t-shirt. And you can see I've washed this a couple of times and it's sort of stained with some of the old stuff, but it's because it's lint-free. And that's how I like to do it. I have a little jar here of just plain old Crisco shortening, vegetable shortening. And again, as I've said, you use whatever you like. I know some people like flaxseed oil. Some people will put in the canola oil. Just whatever works for you. Pan's kind of warm, and I'm just going to go ahead and start coating the inside. I don't use a whole lot. You want a really thin layer. Otherwise, you could get it all sticky and gummy. It could pool in there and cause an unsightly finish. Just about the little size of maybe a pea here is what I'm using to coat the pan, and you can see how well it's doing. So then after I get it in there really good, I turn the rag over to a dry part, and I try to wipe off as much as I can, so it's not going to pool or anything inside the oven. There I go. And then what I'm going to do is put it back in the oven upside down so that any possible grease that may still be on the inside doesn't pool on the inside but drips down. And I'm going to use a foil-lined sheet pan underneath it and bake it at 400 degrees for about an hour. We'll see you then. So that was the end of the first hour. I've gone ahead and let it cool down naturally. I'm going to open up my Crisco again. And this is just a little jar that I've dedicated strictly for cast iron use, just so you know. It's not the same one I'm going to scoop my food out of, so I'm not going to dip with my rag and then eat this. Let me just show you here. That's about how much I use. It's not very much. So we're going to go ahead and give it another good rub and do the process all over again. So we've completed our third and final cycle of seasoning this cast iron skillet. And in between, I usually let it cool down to temperature. And there it is. It's nice and glossy, and it's not greasy. We have a nice finish. And there you go. That's how I season a cast iron skillet.